Am I
You're
good?
live.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Jorge Fuller representing the Lyne't Gray Show this evening. I'm glad to be able to host. Y'all know that Nay is in Ghana, so it is probably 3, 4 o'clock in the morning there. So her not being on tonight is just one of those things. So I get a chance to take over for a little bit. Thank you for tuning in to KUAW, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. I have a special guest with me this evening, literally just met a few minutes ago, but it has already kind of won my heart towards voting for her. This is Stacey Lake. She's running for Jackson County Executive. I'm going to let her speak to you all because, Fuller for the People, we stand for educational prosperity, economic progress, and civic relationships. And what a better way to build a relationship by coming out, hearing what someone has to say, and letting them get the chance to voice so that you all can have a way to establish a relationship as well. Stacey, good evening. Welcome to the KUAW show. I'm going to send you the link, but feel free to tell the people who you are.
My name is Stacey Lake. I'm an attorney by trade, small business owner. Before then, I was a Chinese translator. And currently, I'm running for Jackson County Executive on the Democratic ticket on August 2nd, 2022.
August 2nd. That's coming up. I just want y'all to know that is like that. That is almost, I want to say 12 weeks away. By calculations, that's 12 weeks away on a Tuesday, where you are going to be going to the voting board, going down to wherever your elected site is, and I want you to remember the name Stacey Lake. Can you spell your name for them so that they have full ways, and then tell them how to connect with you?
My name is spelled S-T-A-C-Y. Last name is Lake, like the body of water, L-A-K-E. And if you want to connect with me, I'm available on every social media platform at Stacey Lake MO for Missouri. And my website is www.jacksoncountyexecutive.com.
All right. So tonight we were in conversations. I got here late, y'all. I just want y'all to know the fact that she's spending time with me, even after she's already done a presentation for 2 hours, lets you know that she really wants to reach out to the community. She is someone that is present, so I can tell you this. Simply, she is running on the policies for Jackson County. Can you give them a little bit of information about what the county executive is so that they know, and then tell them why you're running as well?
So the Jackson County Executive, simply speaking, is the mayor over the unincorporated areas of Jackson County, but they also have an umbrella effect where they provide services for specific facilities that would, need that type of services. For instance, our jails, right? And the reason why I'm running for Jackson County Executive is basically because there's a huge need for a change to the Jackson County Executive seat. Currently, the Jackson County Executive is Frank White. The reason why I got involved in this race is one of my properties was greatly misvalued in the 2019 property tax crisis, and I helped my neighborhood fight to recall most of their property taxes. But afterwards, I thought to myself, what about the thousands of other Jackson County properties that were never appealed due to a lack of information or a lack of ability for our thousands of residents? And after I learned that no other Democratic politician was going to challenge Frank White in the primary race, I decided that I would, especially since I had the ability to do so as an attorney, a small business owner, and also as a former Chinese translator.
And also a citizen, right? Like, let's be frank, the titles above, they're not the only identity she has. Being a citizen in this area and someone that is a homeowner, these missteps or these unaccounted for changes and audits and not allowing for you to fully appeal are is disenfranchising our communities, and is also taking advantage of those that really shouldn't be taken advantage of. And so I'm proud that you took the chance as someone that has done it before as well, saying, I don't know who you are, but you're not representing the people. And so can you tell them one of the policies that you favor that caught my ear as soon as I heard it. What is one of the policies, especially dealing with this tax situation?
Well, it's keeping taxes and utilities affordable. So I'm running off of a Jackson plan. But before I get into that, I just want people to know that the Jackson County government admitted, and this is through their agents and through their representatives, admitted that they use corrupt data in order to evaluate our property taxes. And the Jackson County executive had the power to recall all of those property taxes so that a proper evaluation, a proper and fair evaluation could have been committed, but he didn't do it. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to step into this race, because we definitely need a leadership change, a leader that will actually fight for our constituents. But onto my policy, I'm running on a policy called the Jackson Plan, which is an acronym for Justice System Reformation, Auditing Jackson County Government, Countywide Infrastructure Improvements, Keeping Taxes and Utilities Affordable, Small Business Rejuvenation, Ownership Initiative for Single-Family Households, and a neighbor-to-neighbor transportation plan that is for providing the first public transportation system in Jackson County. These are things that we can do if we have the correct leadership and the correct focus in Jackson County. And I'm running on a platform to modernize Jackson County for its residents.
And I say this as a homeowner. I'm inviting her out to come to different events. So, you're going to see us together on a frequent basis. But I'm saying this as a constituent in Jackson County. It is imperative that we have policies that are truly representation of the constituents, not just for the betterment of an industry. And I say it that way because I mean what I meant. You have the ability to overturn, you have the ability, even if it costs more, to reevaluate, to save the community or the owners actual opportunities to be able to pay those taxes to continue to keep their houses. So what people don't know, in the Kansas City area, we allow people to buy your tax lien. And they actually do a bid for your tax lien. And from that bid, that means they are able to own your property until you pay that tax lien. And if you decide not to pay that tax lien, they can evict you from your property. So it doesn't matter what the value of your home is, how much you've paid. If you're not paying your taxes, somebody else can own your home based on the tax lien. And that's something that's been happening for years. And I'm going to say within the last decade, because I was introduced to it almost a decade, maybe a decade and a half ago, as a financial investment opportunity. And I don't believe in disenfranchising anyone else, but that is what is happening in our community. So if you're truly trying to stand against something, you want to stand with someone that's going to look at the policies, make sure that there's opportunities to put caps on those things, because we shouldn't be sitting here fighting this issue as a homeowner, as a constituent. You shouldn't have to fight to keep your property yours. It's your money that you've been putting into it. There should be no one else that can take your property from underneath your nose.
Can I add something really quickly? There were studies done about the 2019 property tax crisis, and they made findings that they specifically targeted minority and poor neighborhoods and did this 14.9, but also, increased the taxes by 100, 200, 300. My property taxes were increased by 300%. And there's a legal and a moral responsibility when it comes to initiating your tax policy, in my belief. And that was completely violated because they didn't evaluate the property taxes legally, and they didn't evaluate the property taxes ethically. And so one thing I want to say is I do support property tax caps and grandfathering in property taxes so that people who are used to paying a certain rate, they shouldn't have to pay 100, 200, 300% more in taxes just because their area was gentrified or because the government failed in properly evaluating their taxes for the past number of decades. There's different ways to handle that situation, but the way that the current administration is doing it is, in my opinion, incorrect.
And I'll say that impacts school boards as well. All LEAs or local education authorities, they get their funding from your property taxes. So if you've been mishandling tax evaluations for years, that means that you're disinvesting in the community for years, and the monies that are needed for school systems to run aren't going there. And then when you do correct your mistake, uh, you do it so that you disenfranchise the individual again. So you're basically attacking on both ends. You're attacking the future and you're attacking the present, and saying that it's not, their value is not there based off of the tax dollars that you're supposed to collect, but you hadn't been collecting for years. And so that's what really drew me and caught my attention. Very first conversation. I promise you all, she does not know me until today. She has not held any conversations beyond this, but this is what civic relationships look like. Being able to answer your constituent and say, yes, I'll make time for you. Yes, I'll sit down with you. She has a million other things she could be doing, but she decided to come on to the KUAW radio station with me and do the Lyne't Gray Show live here at GIFT, which stands for Generating Income for Futures Today, on location with me. So she's not even at home, and she's not even getting ready to leave just yet because she decided to stop. So if I'm telling you any reasons to persuade you to vote for Miss Lake, vote Lake, simply because if she is about the people, that's who we want as our elected official. If you don't believe in that, then you probably need to be reconsidering who you have in office. If you don't know who is in office and you haven't had any type of connection or communication with them, are they truly representing you? Ms. Lake, can you tell them again how to get in contact with you, but also tell them how to support your campaign, because it's necessary.
Yes. So my social media handles are, my website is www.jacksoncountyexecutive.com. And my social media handles is Stacy Lake MO on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can support my campaign by following me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but also by making a donation to my campaign at www.jacksoncountyexecutive.com.
Is there someone helping you in your campaign? Is there a campaign manager, or are you doing this just solely on, who's on your team?
Well, there's 5 people on my team. I don't like to disclose, so they're all volunteers.
Okay.
I don't have a campaign manager right now, specifically because there has been outreach for campaign managers, but a lot of them didn't want to go against Frank. And that's one of the things that we need to fight in the system. When something is wrong, we need to promote people to combat that wrong. And that's the sole reason why I'm running, is not only do I have the educational background to do this position, but I also have the drive and the ability to make Jackson County better for its residents. We're talking about actually modernizing Jackson County, providing the first public transportation system in Jackson County, auditing Jackson County government to make sure that your tax dollars are actually going towards initiatives that benefit the residents. These are the key issues that I'm running on and that I will provide if voted as Jackson County executive.
I'm going to tell you to take the word "if" out your vocabulary when voted. And I simply say that because I understand the same struggles, reaching out, getting volunteers, having others tell me no, because it sounds like it's going to be a losing battle. And it's not a losing battle, because sometimes you have to go in and put your name in the fight. The fact that you've chosen now tells me that you've been ready, and it tells me that you are ready. So I will tell those, if you're saying, hey, I don't know how else to support, you can get a sign when that, if you're following her, get a sign, invite her to your neighborhood meetings or your homeowners meetings or your community meetings, have her in spaces, elevate her name. Because I think, is it just Frank and you?
Yeah, it's just Frank and
I'm gonna tell you up front, my honest opinion, the old guard has been in power for too long and become way too complicit with the way status quo is. And if you're upset by that statement, come challenge me to let's deliberate. I can bring you on this show. We can have a conversation. But it's been too long that someone has been in power and not making commitments to the community or its constituents, and they're continuing a status quo and go by the statement, oh, they just don't understand what's happening here. Well, it is up to you to clarify it for the constituents. So far, anything that she said today has been completely clear to anyone that was in this room. So far, as she said on this show this evening, has been completely clear. We want to know where your tax dollars are going. You hiked up my property tax for what? So that other people can come purchase my property for dirt and then tell me I can't live in my property that I've owned for years, that I've made payments for? No, that's not how this fly. And I'm saying that because as a Jackson County resident, as a Jackson County native, that shouldn't be the case. And Jackson County, can you tell them what cities are actually in Jackson County? Because people just think of Jackson County as a county, but we don't know that there's actual cities here.
Yeah, Jackson County's borderlines is basically south of the river, but it hosts 10 municipalities, Kansas City, Grandview, Martin City, Lee Summit, Raytown, Oak Grove, Blue Springs, Levacy, Buckner, and Lone Jack. So one thing I also want to speak upon is your tax dollars. Nicole Galloway, our Missouri State Auditor, did an audit on Jackson County government in November 2020 that was hardly ever publicized, but she found out that for years, the Jackson County government's budget was underutilized for $100 million, and that Frank White, up to December 2018, did over 2,000 improper administrative transfers, which total to $10 million, which a lot of those transfers are unaccounted for. So that means that there was $100 million that could have been spent on initiatives to help the residents, especially during the pandemic, that was not even touched. This is why it's important and crucial to change the seat on who is the county executive in our county, to make sure that it's a person who's for the residents and not for the title.
And I'm gonna let her in there because I said I wouldn't take her whole night. So I know this is an abbreviated episode of the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW. And I'm sure when she watches it, she's gonna be like, yeah, I love the fact that you pulled that. And I hopefully will invite you on again. I don't think this is the last time you're going to see Stacey Lake, but just know when Fuller for the People tells you to point at when I endorse, and we can do the official endorsement at a later time. This is kind of my brief. Hey, I want to make sure you know that you got my support. I want you to understand that this is someone that is for the people. Nothing she has said. I know how to read energy. I know how to read body language. She has not stood in this space and any figmentations, any deliberate falsehoods. She spoke nothing but facts and in support of people. And that's all we really want. We want you to be transparent with us and authentic. You know, a tenth of that $100 million that have not been spent has been spent somewhere we don't know where. And then the other part is, as a resident, as someone that's a homeowner, someone that just had to put a new roof on their house, I know plenty of houses that are in need of those same types of repair. If Jackson County could have supported that, to support reducing that actual burden on the homeowner, do you not realize what your neighborhood could look like? And I leave you at that. Any final words before I let you go?
One of the things that could really help out my campaign is just spreading the message, spreading my name throughout the community. And so if you want to get in contact with me, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Stacey Lake MO, or reach out to me on email at staceylakemo@gmail.com. And, you know, set up times, I will come by. I've said that I will come to any organization, any homeowners association to speak. Just let me know when and where, and I'll be there.
And that's it, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. I hope that you all gained all of that by listening in, tuning in tonight. And thank you for, joining Jorge Fuller for Dos Minutos with Jorge. This is a little bit longer than 2 minutes, but definitely it was needed. Of course, I go longer than 2 minutes. But if you have any questions, if you want to reach out, you can follow me on Fuller for the People at Facebook and Instagram, or Jorge Fuller for the People. And if you're interested in learning more about Miss Stacey Lake, feel free to look her up at Stacey MO, right? Stacey
Lake MO, or go to my website at www.jacksoncountyexecutive.com.
Now, when I go on tonight, I expect, beyond me liking it myself, because that's going to happen, I expect to see at least 10, 20, 100, 300. I want it to blow up so that people know who she is, and just understand that you've gotten her first prior to any other media outlet that I've seen thus far coming on live. And if she ever wants to have another time, just reach out and we'll make it happen. As Lyne't says, you are welcome to the Lyne't Gray Show. Just give us a holler if you ever want to be back on. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you for bringing me on.
All right. That was very good. We'll see you, and pleasure meeting you, Miss Lake.
It was a pleasure meeting you too.
Next time we will try to come to studio.
All right.
Well, good night, Mr. Walker. Go home. Miss Walker been looking for you.